Hi, Mark, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation to Trenchless Romania Webinars. You are our special guest from our first webinar. So for those who are following us, Mark is responsible for AATT as Vice Chairman, and he is also part of management team of ISTT, International Association of Trenchless Technology. Mark has been within the trenchless industry since 2003, and he is now in responsibility of sales and development department in Uhrich Technique, Canal Technique company. So Mark, first of all, I would want to ask you, how do you feel that the COVID-19 crisis impacted your activity?
Hello, Maria. Thank you for this invitation. I'd like to start with a business survey done by the German Water Partnership. Uhrich company is a member of this organization, and they made a business survey to all of their members, and this is the output. They asked about the business impacts of this COVID situation when it starts all around the world, and when we have the lockdown in Germany. At the moment, the situation in Germany is or becomes stable. Vice versa, in Australia, for example, they have the second lockdown. So we will see what will going on in the autumn. The first question they asked was, how has the pandemic affected your international incoming orders? Because most of the companies of the member companies of the German Water Partnership work internationally. And that's the most important part in our trenchless industry. Nearly 80% of all responded companies have a slightly negative to a very negative impact in the first weeks of this lockdown of the pandemic and the COVID. This is a really negative outlook, you can say, yeah. But this is just what the companies summarize after the first and the second quarter in 2020. Nearly 30% of those 80s think they have a strongly negative or a very negative impact in it. So it's an international impact which we have, because the economies worldwide spread it, and spread it like the virus itself. Yeah. So it was not a stable curve. It was very different from the different international businesses. And the biggest challenge, and I can agree with it, yeah, to this 95% of responded companies, is the travel restrictions. So we have a fast lockdown. We had a fast lockdown, and that means we had to stop our business travels, because you know, the countries closed their borders, and that was a deep and a deep impact in our business plans. The second thing was the development or the introduction of some security measures, distance rules, break-ins in demands, and so on. As you can see on the second question, so which effects are particularly affecting your businesses? And the answer of the responded companies was the safety and security measures and the decreasing of demand. So that's the two common answers, with around about 50% of the asked companies. And what measures are you taking to respond to the crisis? Mainly the 70% of the responded companies answered to this question. The digitalization was one of the first measures they had to accept more or less in the companies. They sent the people to the home offices. So it's also kind of cost reduction or an internal economic policies. You can say this is a part of the short-time work or hiring freeze. I think everything is a bit corresponding to the digitalization, because the companies have to accept this new challenge a bit earlier, as every one of us want to introduce this kind of video calls instead of business travels, video meetings in a regularly way instead of phone calls. So I think this is one of the most common measures at the beginning of this crisis. And vice versa, the companies were also asked about the outlook and the assets to development their businesses as a result of this crisis. And then we have a kind of positive outlook, because 30% of the responded companies think there will be a normalization in 2021 on the pre-COVID level. Only 1.3% of those companies who responded to this business survey said they had an immediately increasing of the turnover. So we see, on the other hand side, few companies also in our business, in the Trenchless industry, had a stable turnover, a stable international business. And I'm very proud to say, and very happy, Zurich, so my company, we had also a very good and stable situation. In different markets, of course, there was also a real hard impact, immediately impact, but on the other hand side, in other countries, we were able to stabilize and also to increase the turnover. And I think a lot of companies from the Trenchless industry have a similar or a same situation. And as a summarize, I would like to say digitalization instead of dismissal. That means stop investing in people for a greater instant income. And immediately income is a very bad effect to our society.
So Mark, I would like to ask you, what would be your 3 recommendations for companies to overcome this difficult period?
I think I would like to summarize it with these 3 words at the end of this slide. It's like patience. I think we have to be patient, because nobody can answer what will happen in the next 3 months or in this autumn in Europe or worldwide. We have to be patient, but we have to be very confident in our knowledge, in our technologies, and in a very positive outlook. And the courage, of course, braveness. We need to be brave. The companies and also their employees have to be a positive mindset for the future. So this is not the first crisis we have. We had in 2008 another crisis, a financial one. We also had impacts in those kind of business, but of course the COVID situation is really different.
Perfect. So thank you very much, Mark, for this positive overview for our Trenchless webinar. And I also think it's important for us to remain positive. And I look forward to see you to another Trenchless Romania webinar in the near future, and also to meet in person as soon as possible.
Wonderful. Thank you, Maria. I wish you personal and also my friends, my dear friends in Romania, all the best. And hopefully I cross my fingers that we see us in real life again very soon.
Thank you. Thank you as well, Mark.